Herman was a rather strange person. His shirt was purple, his pants were green, his eyebrows thick, and his head bald. Despite this strange appearance, though, Herman always seemed kind enough. No matter where I went, whether it be a foreign land or a gloomy classroom, he always seemed to be just around the corner, waiting to help. On more than one occasion, he even led me back to safety. The thing is, though, that I never knew his name. I suppose that he didn't want me to know, didn't want the recognition. He just wanted to help, and to be completely honest, I was perfectly fine with that. Herman was my guardian angel, and as such, I trusted no one more than him. Sometimes, I'd catch Herman breaking the rules, like the time I had a job interview and he paid my employer off so that I could get the job. Nobody seemed to mind, though. They all seemed to like Herman, broken rules and all. Perhaps it was his purple shirt, or his green pants, maybe his thick eyebrows or bald head. What was it that made Herman so likable? Perhaps it was his lively grin that made people so forgiving. Regardless of others' reasons for liking him, I liked Herman because he was reliable. He always showed up at just the right moments, like at my wedding. I initially thought that he had come to congratulate me, but it turns out that someone had poisoned the food. That, or else the cook was upset that we had failed to pay her more than an hour's wages to cater. Best to tip well. Another convenient moment occurred when my son was born. I had no idea what to name him, and neither did my wife. Thankfully, Herman did, and everyone loved his suggestion. Asher. As Asher grew older, Herman began to watch over him as well. On more than one occasion he picked up the slack that I had left, and on more than one occasion I was very thankful. Without him, I doubt that either Asher or myself would have reached adulthood. The oddest thing, though, is that Herman refused to help my wife. Not wanting to make her jealous, I refrained from ever mentioning Herman around her. But when Asher did one day, she was a good sport, even acted a little surprised that my son had such a good friend, and gave him the name Herman. He seemed to like it. Life couldn't have gotten better. Herman always had our backs, and things rarely ever went wrong. But then, Asher went off to be an adventurer, and I saw less of Herman. Years passed, and Herman only appeared a few more times. This didn't bother me, though, as I figured he was off protecting Asher from the latest mess he had gotten himself into. One such appearance was during my trip to East Asia. A rather dubious group had sabotaged my airplane, and it was Herman who provided me with a parachute. Unfortunately, the other passengers were not so lucky as to have a Herman in their lives. The other two appearances both occurred in the hospital. The first was for the birth of my granddaughter Eliza. Herman was once again responsible for the naming, and nobody had any reason to object. The second appearance was during the death of my wife. As per usual, he did not help her, but then again, I didn't think that even he could conquer death. The time for my own death eventually arrived as well, and just as Herman had been there for my first few memories, he was there for my last as well. Oddly enough, Herman was there when my life began. He was there when it ended. He was even there when my life after death began. And I do believe that he'll be there when it ends. He'll be there for Asher, Eliza, and whomever comes after that. He'll be there for us all. 'Cause you see, Herman is a rather strange person.